Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. As many of you are quite interested in knowing what it's like studying architecture at the University of Manchester, today I've invited my best friend who's doing a master's degree in architecture at the University of Manchester onto this channel to share some insightful advice. This is a part of a series that I'm putting together for prospective students who want to study at the University of Manchester. So if you're interested, I've put the link to the playlist down in the description box below. Before we go into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on content like this. A little bit of background information about what is needed for your application. So first of all, you'll need a personal statement highlighting why you want to study at the University of Manchester and also your academic interest for your future dissertation. The second is you have to provide some form of proof that you've worked at a practice before for your professional work experience. You'll also need a portfolio including your academic work and your practice work, and this should not exceed the limit of 35 pages. For overseas students, you will need IELTS. You'll need 6.5 in your IELTS with 6.0 in each of the components. You'll also need a second upper class degree for your bachelor's in architecture in order to apply for this course. You'll also need 2 references. You'll need a reference from your previous school, so one academic reference, and you'll also need a reference from your current place of work, assuming you're working currently at an architectural practice. The price for studying at the University of Manchester for a postgraduate degree in architecture as an international student currently stands at the price of £30,000 per year. Hi everyone, so this is Kingsley and he's currently studying at the University of Manchester. He's doing a architecture postgraduate degree. So the first question I would like to ask is, why did you choose the University of Manchester for your postgraduate degree?
The first reason is because it's a joint school program, so you get access to University of Manchester's facilities, and also your because some depends on where you live. Because it's actually quite a big campus as well. I think like different parts of the city you can get access to like a lot of services. I think that's the main point. And the second one is about the scale of Manchester. I think it's not too big, but not too small that you will find it boring. Your study is not only about studying, also about like what you can do in the city. Entertainment and also like any kind of support.
So let's dive deep now and about the architecture course. So can you let us know how the course is structured?
Because I'm studying year 5, which is the first year of masters. There are a few main assignments. First of all is portfolio, so it's for your design studio. And the second one is research method. So it's kind of like an introduction to your dissertation. And then obviously dissertation. And then lastly is something called MSA Live, which is a real life collaboration with some stakeholders and also a mentor program with landscape students and year 1 and 2 from undergraduate.
So in architecture schools, the studio culture is usually very important. So what do you think the studio culture is like at University of Manchester, and also what are the class sizes?
In Manchester, no matter you're in dissertation or like research method or design studios, you're actually divided into different streams. So each group has different topics. Design studios, I think there are around like 5 or 6 design studios. And then in each class we have 20 something students supported by 2 to 3 tutors. I think the studio culture is quite helpful and then quite friendly. I think friendly is the main thing. I don't think it's really toxic. Because each design studio is quite distinct from each other. So depends on what you like, you can actually find your people there. For dissertation, I think there are like 20 something topics. So it's really a wide range of topics you can choose from. I'm doing globalization right now, and then but you can also do like placemaking, immigration, or like speculative writing. So as you can see, it's really like a wide range of skills, like from very creative to very technical database. Research method is kind of interesting. It's more about kind of to initiate that creative mind in you to think about how would you like to start your dissertation. So for me, I picked a workshop which is about creative writing. In this workshop, you need to think about like a draft question for your dissertation and also a brief literature review. MSc Live. So you have a wide range of projects you can pick from culture, environment to something like regeneration, retrofit, that kind of thing. What's really special about this part of the project is that you can work with, let's say, I'm currently working with Stockport Council, and to design like a pocket park in Stockport. And then you get to know more about what the undergraduates are like now. You know, like we learn from each other. No matter which area you're in, you always learn from each other.
What are the tutors like?
I think in general, the tutors are quite responsive. Sometimes if you send messages during the weekends or ever send emails and stuff, they will still reply to your messages. Particularly for studio, usually it's made up of like 2 or 3 tutors. Usually, one of the tutors is more leaning towards the creative side, so they will give you a lot of ideas, precedents for you to do research, and then the other one is leaning towards the technical side. So they will talk about sustainability, whether it's effective to have such like building fabric ourselves. So I think it's a quite well balanced between both, and sometimes you have vertical sections. So you work with the final years in undergraduate and also the 6 years, and then you guys have overarching brief to work on some workshops to have different perspectives on your current project. Sometimes they keep on throwing ideas at you like, you should try this. I think that may help better for your project, but it's also your responsibility to keep track of time. If you stand by your design and stand by your current thing, I think meeting the submission is more important than keep on changing it forever, because there's no such thing called a perfect design. But keeping your responsibility, I think, is the priority.
Are there any extracurricular activities at the school that you think is worth joining?
There's different societies in Manchester, such as photography, debate, and also BLM, which is about inclusivity. And then I think there are new ones as well for digital modeling, kind of like AI stuff. And international society, so you get to know more about people from different cultures. You need to be really self-driven in these societies, because like everyone has a busy life. Just start a conversation and connect with them. And also, I think that they have these activities from time to time. There's one for magazine, so you can also be an editor as well to have different issues of magazines, and you get writings from different students, and then also like when you commission for like illustrations and then you compile them together. So it's really a wide range of societies in Manchester.
I know there are a lot of controversies going on about the quality of the education at the University of Manchester. So how would you rate your satisfaction level with the education or the university in general?
I would rate a 7.5 to 8. It's actually a really, really high mark, I would say. But it's really based on my personal experience, because I have some of my friends who, they may not fight with their tutors a lot. They have hard time communicating with their tutors. But overall, I think I have some of the good tutors. They're quite responsive and quite helpful as well. But I think also another thing is that like sometimes tutors may not fully know what's in your mind, because you guys have different backgrounds. You guys have different growing experiences, especially when you're doing a very personal thesis. They may not know your personal background, your culture. So it's more about like presenting yourself, tell more about yourself to them, and also keep asking questions. The more you ask, they answer more.
So in this economy, I think a lot of students are worried about the job prospects of this industry. So what do you think graduates go on to do after they graduate?
I think most of them are still doing part 2s. Like after you finish your master's degree, doing part 2s and part 3 and being an architect. I think that's a very like easy, not easy, but like a very apparent route to follow. But I don't think it should limit your career prospect, because architecture, like they teach you a wide range of skills like software, task management, creative process. And with these skills, you can actually do a lot of stuff like graphic designer, directors, furniture design, product design, interior design. It's not always about being an architect. When you have the skill sets in your hand, like you can actually utilize them and just do things that you're passionate with.
Okay, now we're going to move on to more about student living, like your general lifestyle. As an architecture student, is it normal to have a social life?
That's a tricky question. I think yes, it's normal because when you're in a studio, you meet new friends. Obviously, you will find your people there. So yeah, definitely you have a social life because you also need to communicate with friends and talk about how much you need to do for a portfolio, right? But other than that, yeah, I still think I know I don't sound convincing now, but also depends on whether you're really putting yourself out there as well. Because now I kind of just have a balance. Like I do still go out with friends, but at the same time I also prefer to have more time to process all the ideas and stuff and to work on myself. Yeah. But definitely, if you put yourself out there, it's very easy to make new friends. It's a big course, like there's a wide variety of people in the course, like 150 of them. So you definitely can find your people there.
Okay. The second question I have is on a level of 1 to 10. How stressed are you?
I did find myself more stressful than BA, but that doesn't mean that I cannot handle better than BA, because the more you learn, you actually know how to manage manage your time. But it's just I need to do dissertation and portfolio at the same time. They're just like 2 weeks apart for deadlines, which is a lot of work. But actually I only started doing my research in November, December, and then I just submit in April. So it's just like under half a year, and then you have to come up with the whole research thesis and stuff. So it's like quite a lot of work. But they're changing it next year, I think. I think the nature of architecture is also quite stressful as well. As long as you like the project, I think that's the most important thing. Yeah.
What kind of activities are there to do, like after working hours?
I think nightlife in Manchester is quite vibrant. Yeah, because there are a lot of clubs, and there are also Asian nights. I also enjoy the concerts in Manchester. There are actually a lot of parks you can go picnic as well during spring, of course, or summer. You can get access to a lot of things in city center as well. You have everything there: bowling, arcade game, shopping, whatever. Yeah. So I quite enjoyed it as well. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the very important question that I think a lot of people want to know is, what is the cost of living in Manchester? What would be your monthly expense on rent, roughly?
So now, I think the market price is around like 900 to 1100 for renting a studio or one-bedroom apartment in city center. But what I said is more about the kind of old apartments. For the new builds, in co-living space is around like 13-14K. They're like all new buildings, and they are really central as well, so you can actually just walk to school. Student accommodation for private ones, I am not quite sure with the uni ones, but for private ones, normal range can go from like 180 to 200 per week for an ensuite room. If you want a more premium experience, I think it can go up to like 260 or like 300 per week. These buildings are really central Manchester. Depends on what you're going for your student life. You can actually have a wide range of choices.
Okay, moving on to the second part of expenses. After rent. So what's the living cost like?
I think if you like to cook, you can actually save a lot of money.
Yeah, that is true.
In terms of transportation, if you're not living like too far away from city center, from the campus, actually you can just walk to school. For other entertainments and stuff, like dining out or like going to concerts or anything like that, obviously that's a very personal preference, but I think it's still within the acceptable range. In terms of the total living cost, I think it really depends on your living styles, because some people can go like 600 per month, but if you fancy entertainment and stuff in Manchester, it can go up to like 1,000.
I think the last question we have is there a possibility for students to get a part-time job to fund their living?
I think there are quite a lot of part-time jobs in Manchester. Obviously, if you go to like boba shop, or like restaurants, there are a lot of them. I know some of my mates, they may go to some of the architectural practice to do part-time job. Usually it's 1 or 2 days, normally 1 day per week. When you have part-time job, also be sure that you can manage your time really well.
And that's it. So thank you, Kingsley, for answering all the questions we have in mind. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comment section down below too. And that's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave comments down in the comment section box below. This is a series that I'm putting together for prospective students who want to study at the University of Manchester. So if you're interested, I did put the link to the playlist down in the description box below. And as always, if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all next time.